So here's a seed that I want to try this year, and we have to get going on it because it has an incredibly long growth period. It takes 150 days to mature, according to the seed package. These are Luffas, and I've always wanted to grow them. I have tried growing them in the past, unsuccessfully. In fact, I've never even been able to make them germinate. So I did some reading on the good old internets. And many sites suggest that you want to scarify the seeds and then soak them first. And scarifying means you take something like sandpaper and you scratch the outer coating of the seed. I guess it's just so tough that even though the seed wants to germinate, it can't get through the coating. But I found a science paper, like a real-life science paper on a real-life science domain. They did some tests on clipping and scarifying, and of course they had their control of doing nothing. Their results found that clipping the seeds can have as good as 100% germination. The scarifying had at best 75%. And the control group, the untreated seeds, were 56%. So hey, I want 100% germination. I'm going to try clipping. Clip the pointed end off the gourd seed with a nail clipper. I can do that. Only clip through the outer seed coating and avoid cutting into the seed itself. Okay, I can do that. It seems a little scary. How do you know where the seed is? So let's do it. Pointy end. Seems like you should get to the point where you can see the seed inside. I'm scared to clip. So I'm going to put this in, it says warm water, 70 to 75 degrees Fahrenheit. And we're going to put them in there for 24 hours. And we'll come back tomorrow and pot them up. The other thing that I'm thinking about with these Luffas, because they need such an extended season, maybe they can be my hoop house crop. By growing them in there, I can get them out sooner. They will certainly be warmer. The ground will be very, very warm. And I can probably get an extra 30 days on the tail end of the season too. Now if I'm going to try that, I am going to have to solve the ventilation issue. It's only so hot I can let the hoop house get before it's too hot for the seeds. Okay, so there we go. I'll see you tomorrow. Okay, let's do this. So I was looking at the seeds this morning and I'm really excited by what I see. After having soaked for a little more than 24 hours, you can definitely see, I know I'm not even going to try and show you on the camera, but you can definitely see the little bit of the, is that the germ? The germ coming through and, you know, getting ready to sprout. So we shall get them planted up. Now I thought I would use these. It's a 2.5 inch, 2 3/4 inch pot. They don't like to be transplanted much, especially when they are larger. So when they're more established, they're gonna like it even less. So this is my theory. If I use these smaller pots and put just one in each, then they'll be able to start growing, and as long as they germinate, and remember I'm going to get 100% germination, right? When they germinate, then I can move them to a much larger pot and only have to worry about moving the successful ones. Again, it's always a balance game. I've only got so much space, so I have to be frugal when I can be frugal. So I'm going to be frugal at the start. So I use just regular potting soil. I don't use anything fancy. I don't even use seed starting mix. I just use potting soil from Canadian Tire. if you have more than one pot of the same size, I usually put in a whole bunch of dirt and then just use the other pot to kind of stamp it down. And I like to have it nice and firm, say about an inch below where you're going to put the seed, and then put a little bit more in, put the seed in, and put a little bit more on top. Okay, so I have about 9 more to go. That's going to be pretty boring. I'm not going to show you all of them, so I will put the 4 that I have ready to go so far in my little nursery area, and then wait. And will you look at this? Let's see if we can show those. Those are petunias. Did everyone come up? Not there yet. And not there yet, but that's pretty good percentage for germination for petunias. I'm happy with that. They can come out into the real light now. I was trying to think if there was anything that I can show you that I do that would be useful for you, that you're not going to find on everyone else's video, because everybody has videos about how to start seeds. And I can't think of an awful lot of things. There's maybe 1 or 2, so let me grab some stuff and show you. Once upon a time, I bought a big starting tray, and it had, what did these come with, 64 cells, 72 cells? So I took that big tray and I cut it down into smaller sections. So I've got a bunch of 12 cells in a row, and I did a bunch of 9 cells in a square. When it does come time to pot them up, I'm not throwing things all over the place here. I'm not manhandling this many plants because maybe this is the one that I want to pull out and pot up. So it's a little kinder, a little gentler on the seedlings themselves. Sunlight, please. So because I only have one light, oh, Minnie. I only have one light on this. Okay, I wanted to show off the peppers. They are looking very, very good. These are the red bell peppers, variety called Right On, and their leaves are enormous. They're just wonderful. Doing very well. I know I said I was going to do tomato starts this weekend, and I will. I'm just not going to bother filming them. It's not terribly exciting. They start just like, well, pretty much every other plant. But I will show you what varieties that I'm growing. So we've got Defiant, and that's a nice, maybe like a baseball size, smaller than a baseball, but very reliable, very quick, 69 days to maturity, and I've gotten a lot off of those plants. For a beefsteak tomato, a nice eating sandwich tomato, I'll do Mountain Merits. I have grown them before. I started them last year and killed them all. It was my lesson in how hot can it actually get inside the hoop house. Very hot, and it killed all of the starts that I had last year for mountain merits. I was lucky I got any tomatoes at all. I've been growing for a plum tomato, Plum Regal. I'm happy with those. And the experiment for tomatoes is going to be, I saved seeds from last year, and this is the first time I've ever done that. So I had 2 varieties that I grew last year that were heirloom varieties, and from what I understand, heirloom varieties are the ones where you can save the seeds and reliably grow the same tomato the following year. So I had a grape tomato. I just got it from the grocery store, the plant itself, not a grape tomato. And so I don't really know what variety is. It was just called grape tomato. And the wonderful tomato that I had last year was San Marzanos. I've read about them and found them in a seed catalog, and I had to try them. And they were amazing. They were huge paste tomatoes and so prolific. They are the vine type, so they grew up on a like a 5-foot stake. They grew all the way to the top, then they grew back down themselves, and then started growing on the ground. These were amazing tomatoes. So if we get some of those again, that will be awesome. They're not exactly tomatoes, but I'll probably grow a few tomatillos as well. I like those for sauce. Okay, that should be it for this exciting episode. If you did find any information useful in the loofah starting, if you could hit like and maybe even subscribe below, that would certainly tell YouTube that I am offering some interesting content. And on that note, we shall say goodbye, and we'll see you next week. Thanks for coming by.